good old-fashioned aggressive game. Just talk about what you got from AD there in the late the second half and in overtime.
Yeah, I thought AD was really good on both ends, being able to clean up some of those looks that we had. And then I thought Coop made a heck of a play, dump off there late for him to be able to get that dunk. And then defensively to come up with that rebound in that scrum was big winning play for us.
You mentioned Coop. Just talk about, like, what did you see from just the plays that he made from the 2 shots over Isaiah Stewart there late for him to make those shots and then pass to AD. Just what does that say about his playmaking, especially in clutch games?
Yeah, I think we talked about it before the game about him in the red zone, understanding he finds a way, scoring it or making a play, and he did it, tonight, coming down the stretch. We got him the ball, he scores, and then he makes a heck of a play going right and with the bounce pass to AD for, an easy 2. So, again, we talk about it every day of just understanding in that winning situation, he has stepped up every time, and so it's good to see. We're finally starting to win some close games here, and so I think it's a happy locker room, and understand we just beat the best team in the East. They're a really good team, and they competed to the end too. So it was a good basketball game for us before we go out on the road.
How'd you guys get in the position of being in a clutch game after leading by as many as 18?
Yeah, just that fourth quarter, we came out and we kind of stalled out, and they took advantage of that. I think it was a 10-2 run to start that fourth. But the group stayed together. We got some great looks. I don't think both teams shot the 3 well tonight, but we stuck with it. We found a way. We keep competing. I thought Naji, both him and AD under the weather, both played, the flu game tonight. They both played well.
What does that say about this team if you can, play an aggressive game against the top team and come out on top?
Yeah, I think just the character of the group staying together, finding a way. Next man up mentality. We didn't shoot the 3 well, but we found a way. Again, the group, playing in transition, trying to get, easy looks, and then playing through Coop late there in that fourth quarter. He made all the right plays.
Cooper did say that the toughest transition for him has been the physicality of playing in the NBA. This seemed to be his most physical game. What did you like about his performance as far as the aggression?
Yeah, we told him it's going to be physical. Detroit's a team on both ends, offensively and defensively. They're going to be physical, and I think he got hit a couple times. When you have the ball, you got to be strong with it. But I think we talked about that too before. It's for him, it's going to be about time and strength and understanding once he gets those 2 things, then the sky's the limit.
Brandon Williams with 14 points off the bench. What do you think of the spark that he provided in his minutes?
Yeah, I thought he was really good, being able to find the guys. He didn't get all the assists that he probably could have. And then I thought he had some great looks that just didn't go down. But I thought that the energy, being competitive on the defensive end and then on the offensive end, setting the tone with his speed and being able to get in the paint and get guys shot was at a high tonight. And I thought he picked up Ryan. Tonight when you can, one is not playing up to, par, he picked up the pace for us and he picked up Ryan.
You think playing in 20 clutch games coming into the game kind of helped you all win first tonight?
Well, it's just a matter of time. If you stay long enough in this league, you're going to play a lot of close games. And so not to get discouraged, just keep playing. Clay had a good look. It just went in and out. And so, those you would hope that it went down, but I thought the energy of that group in the fourth was at a high still, that they still believe that they could win.
What do you think it means when a team like Detroit that leads the East decides to not let Cooper Flagg touch the ball to kind of end the game in the fourth quarter, 18 years old?
Yeah, well, that's just respect. I think they knew that we were going to him with the success that he's had in the fourth quarter or coming down the stretch, and someone else has to step up. And so, again, Clay had a great look there at the end. It rattles in and out, and then coming down the stretch, AD, capitalizes on Cooper's drive. So all the right plays on both ends, offensively and defensively. AD comes up with a big loose ball there to end the game.
Speaking of stepping up, you had a 20-4 run in the second quarter. Master Christie had 9 of those points. Talk about what you saw from him.
Yeah, I think being able to shoot, he took advantage of some wide open looks and knocked them down for us. I thought he was great for us off the bench too, being able to shoot and score for us. We had quite a few guys, I think, in double figures, so that's a good sign, and that normally puts us in a position to win.
Offensively, what are some ways you're seeing Cooper and Anthony Davis grow chemistry together?
Yeah, I think just running a pick and roll together, being able to, when they had both bigs, they went with a big lineup. So with the 4 or 5 pick and roll, we trust that Cooper can make the right plays, and tonight he did that. And the more that they're both out on the floor, the chemistry will only get better.
Earlier this week, something that Cooper talked about when he was interviewed at a community event was he just said, God willing, the only one when asked about playing for the Mavericks and just him loving the city of Dallas. With you being someone who's been here a while and know how important loyalty is, how excited are you to not, of course, you're focused on the W's now, but how exciting is it that y'all can kind of grow together and you're going to get to coach him here moving forward?
Yeah, I think it's great. He'll be 19 here in a couple days, and we're very fortunate to have him, and we will treasure him at 18 and 19 all the way until he's 55. And so, because he'll probably retire at the age of 55. All right, thanks.
Cooper, we talked about transition to the league. You said physicality is probably the toughest for you. Do you think that this is the toughest and most that you've had to kind of put out there on the floor with 40 minutes played tonight?
Yeah, it's up there. They're a physical team. We knew that, coming off the first time that we played them. They're a physical, tough team, and, if you're not a physical back, and they're going to punish you. So we knew that coming in, and try to raise our level of physicality.
What does it feel like at the end of the fourth quarter when Detroit decides to, take you away, kind of double you off of the screen action and kind of let another player take the shot at only 18 years old?
Yeah, if they're going to put 2 on me, we just got to make the right play. I thought Clay actually got a great look off and rolled around and missed, but, that's just about being a basketball player. Obviously it's pretty cool that, they took me away and, I was hot down the stretch, but, it's being basketball players, finding Clay and getting a good look off is what was best for our team. I thought we, just moved on great and got a good look.
I know you got the pass to AD there late in the overtime period, but before that you had 2 straight shots there over Isaiah Stewart. Just what'd you see on those 2 plays?
Yeah, just getting to my spots. I was trying to get out to the rim a couple times. They're showing a low man, and they got some really athletic guys. So, D-Lo was on the bench telling me, you got to get to your midi, get to your spot and just raise up and live with the shot. So, I thought I did a little better, down the very end of the fourth quarter, just getting to my spot and just raising up.
What does that say about this team, Cooper? Detroit comes in and got the second best record in the entire NBA. You guys helped them out.
I think it says a lot. Honestly, I think that's our first game having everybody that's not out for the season healthy. So, that's a big step for us, just getting healthy, getting guys back, getting into shape. And I think if we can, continue like this and have guys, every night and have guys available, it'll be really good for us. And, we got a lot of fight left. We're not rolling over and, giving up and just saying we're going to, be a bad team. We're going to keep fighting and competing and giving it our all every single night.
Since Anthony Davis has returned, y'all have been stringing together some wins, playing much better. What's been so special about you and Davis's on-court tandem?
Yeah, I think it's something that I go back to. He's just got a lot of gravity. It's a matchup nightmare for, a lot of teams, pretty much every team. So, he just has a lot of gravity, and that just opens up, the whole floor for the rest of us and just gives us the ability to go and just make plays.
So on the other end of the floor, of course, you can gauge his performance when looking at steals and blocks, but of course he's extremely impactful. What would you say about his defensive impact that's not on the box score?
Yeah, he's special. Just his presence, I would say, around the rim. He has such a big, rim presence of, blocking shots, and he has great hands. Probably the best hands, at his position that I've ever seen. So it's pretty cool, just to be alongside him, and with his presence, it definitely just elevates us all.
You mentioned that fight. What are the big picture goals for this team right now?
For me, I can speak for me, and I think I can speak for the team. It's just, day to day, not getting ahead of ourselves, not looking really not even trying to look big picture right now, but just on a day-to-day basis, just showing up and getting better and dedicating ourselves to competing every single night and knowing that we got a lot left to give and we think we can be a good team.
No,
One thing that
still.
you've constantly said is not riding the highs and the lows. You're coming off a career high of 42 points. You just beat the best team in the East. You seem very mellow. So how does this kind of calmness help you regulate throughout the whole season, and how have you kind of mastered it so quickly?
I'm tired. I would say that goes into that mellowness. Obviously, I'm excited. Fight out a win like that, it feels pretty good, and especially to go into an overtime game and come out with a win, it feels great. But like I said, just thinking on a day-to-day basis, knowing that we got another one on whatever day the 20th is, 2 days, a day in between. We got another game coming up. So we just got to turn the page. You can't, be like, oh, we won and celebrate it too much. We just got to move on, and that's really what this league is about. And it's one of the biggest things that I've learned so far is just turning the page really quickly and just getting ready to, go to work the next day and play somebody new.
That's a mindset you just learned, or is that something you?
It's different. It's different. College, sometimes a week in between games, 3-4 days at least. Except, the ACC tournament I didn't even play in that last year, one game. But, those type of things where you got a couple games in a couple of days. But other than that, it's 3-4 games to a week at a time in between. And so it's a different mindset for sure. It's something you have to learn, not taking the losses too hard, not enjoying the wins too much. So, I think I'm learning a lot.
You came in here early in the season. I think you guys had just lost to the Pelicans and were pretty down. You talked about you never lost this much in your life. How did you keep the early losing from weighing on you, and how did you learn from those?
Just trying to get better. Just focusing on each individual day of showing up, putting in reps, putting in the work, and knowing that every opportunity and experience that I'm getting right now is only going to help us in the long run. And, whenever we turn this thing around and, I think we have, started in that direction, it's going to make it a lot sweeter, knowing the way we started it. And so, I'm just looking forward to continuing to grow each and every day. And, I think the wins will continue to come if we just focus on that stuff.
I know it's still early, but what kind of identity would you say this team is creating?
I would say we definitely have a next man up mentality, and that identity of we don't care, who's doing it on each given night. We're having different guys step up every night, and that's what it's really about. Trusting each other. We have a big trust and loyal group where we're all just trusting each other, and I think that's a big part of it. And I think we've been forced to kind of have that mindset as well with some of the unfortunate injuries and whatnot, but we've had guys step up, all the way through, and we think, when we're healthy and, we got guys playing at the level they can play at that, we can be a successful team, and that's why we're going to keep competing and keep fighting.
We've talked to you about the transition between college and the pros a few times already, but do you ever give yourself a moment to take in that transition and take in how well you've been handling it?
Not really. I don't think I really have had many moments to think about it, and when I do get my moment, I want to think about anything but, what's going on with, basketball and that sort of thing. So it's tough, I do take, time to try and reflect on it the best I can. But for the most part, I'm just pushing through right now and trying to just focus on the next day and trying to be the best version of myself.
On Amazon Prime, OG Anunoby was asking Dirk about shooting advice. How much basketball do you talk about with Dirk?
Yeah, I've talked about a good amount of stuff with him. I think as of late especially, we've kind of tried to, reach out a little bit more, and I'm trying to, grow a relationship. He's just an incredible basketball mind and, such a figure here in Dallas that, I'd be dumb not to, want to reach out and learn as much as I can from him. And, he's been amazing just, trying to be around for me and give me guidance in a lot of different ways. But, he has a lot. He's a lot to give me and a lot that I can learn from him. So I'm excited to continue to build our relationship.
When Coach Kidd was in here, I asked him about your quote earlier this week with the God willing, the only one, when you were asked about Dallas, the holiday event. Coach Kidd said he's going to treasure you until you're 55 because that's when you're going to retire. And I'd like to ask you, with you saying that, with you only being here a few months, what does loyalty mean to you, and what have you liked so much about this Mavericks journey that you've been on the past few months?
Yeah, loyalty has always been a big thing for me, and I think it's just being where my feet are. I've loved every minute of being here, and, I think, regardless of what city I was going to be in, I would have loved it, no matter what. I feel like I'm living a dream, and So, you know, I didn't mean anything crazy by it, but it's just I'm trying to live where my feet are and just enjoy this environment. And, I mean, everybody here in Dallas has been so amazing. So, you know, I'd be foolish not to want to be here, you know, for as long as I can. And, you know, whatever happens, happens. But, you know, I'm just trying to enjoy life, you know, one day at a time and take what's given to me and just feel really blessed.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
What does that say about this team, Naji? I mean, Detroit comes in with the second best record in the entire NBA, and you guys helped them off there at the end.
It shows how much fight we got in our guys. How much we love the game and how much we truly want to win. It's not easy out here, and it's been a lot of rough patches in the season that we're trying to make up for right now with good basketball. But winning the NBA is hard, so just showing the fight and, you know, get stops and execute down the stretch. Proud of my guys.
Tonight's game, fight. What about these competitive matchups kind of bring the best out of you?
Shout out to the Pistons, man. They're an unbelievable team. You know, first in the East. You know, they've been balling this season, but got a lot of physical guys. Durant, Isaiah Stewart, even, you know, Thompson twin, Javante Green, Jaden Ivey, you know, those guys, Ron Holland, they come in and play hard, you know, crash the glass and, you know, pick up full court on defense, you know. So it's definitely always going to be a scrappy game, but, you know, that's what makes the game fun. Like I said, it makes us play hard, and, you know, the fans were into it today, so I think it was just an all-around fun game.
Jason Kidd called this your flu game. You had 16 points, 33 minutes. How are you feeling now? How tough was it to go out and execute?
I mean, it definitely was tough to start the game off, especially chasing around Cade. But, you know, as the day goes by, I'm starting to feel better. Just staying hydrated and get fluids in my body. But shout out to Kid for that. Michael Jordan had, 40 when he had the flu? 16, man. Bubble guts game.
About you guys' defense, you ended up with 14 block shots overall.
Oh, man. Every game is something new. Hopefully one day we can all put it together. But like I said, down the stretch, you know, Coop made some big plays. PJ, AD, Gaff, Max, shout out B. Will. Like, it's really a team effort, man. Every night I'm proud of my guys. We put up an amazing fight tonight, and it just looked good.
See it coming together because you won 6 out of your last 8 games.
Oh, most definitely. I sound like coming together when, you know, we was losing. Everything's just a learning experience, and like I said, I'm just proud of this team, proud of my guys. You know, I've been on teams where we lost a lot of games, and, you know, we just gave in. You know, these guys still show up every day, put the work in, and want to be great. So, shout out to them.
What kind of identity would you say this team is building?
Tough. Can score and can defend. Can run in transition. I don't know, all around. I think we have a lot of us have all around games. Coop can play, make, can score, can defend. AD same thing. PJ. So I think we're just an all around team who just finds ways to win.
In the year, y'all's offense was definitely something that needed some improvement there. It was near the bottom of the league when it comes to offensive rating, and it's starting to rise there a little bit, especially over the last few weeks. What has led to y'all's offense improving so much recently?
Just understanding each other more. Still kind of fairly new team, and, you know, we faced injuries early, so a lot of people we may have not expected to play had to play, you know, step in and fill those roles. So just learning our teammates. You know, Cooper's a rookie. Not only is he learning us, but we still learning him and the things he likes to do, where he likes the ball, and in transition, who to pass it to, what lanes to run. So I think, like my guy said right here, it's starting to come together, and we starting to understand each other.
What have you learned about Coop from a competitive standpoint?
Coop is really amazing at basketball. He's a dog on both ends of the floor, and every game somebody guards him with their best defender, and he just goes out and proves that he's the number one pick and why he's the number one pick, and pledge allegiance to the flag, man.
Naji, you kind of said a few times how proud you are of the guys. Even outside of the game of basketball, how would you describe what it's like to go to work with these guys every day?
That's what I said. Like, I've been around a group that, you know, we started off the season rough and everybody just went their separate ways and became real personal for guys. And, you know, the team aspect of it really was out the window. But this team, man, we all together. Like, we've won every game. Like, everybody, we could lose, come to practice the next day, the music playing, people early getting their work in. It's all love. Nobody is bigger than the program, and we all want to see each other win. So I feel like that's positive energy to be around, and I just look forward to the rest of the season.
Defense and physicality has been kind of your calling cards, and you were calling Cooper a dog. So what has it been like going to war with him, specifically on the defensive end, on a nightly basis?
I mean, it's easy. Just knowing a guy out there got my back. Also, PJ and really the rest of the guys that play too. It makes it easy, but just knowing that I got somebody I can take a possession off a player and he can guard him, or vice versa. It makes it easy and it makes it fun. Thank you, guys.
Like out there tonight, was that the most physical game you guys have played this season?
I miss all the games, so. But yeah, they try to be a physical team, and we just had to try to match their physicality. I think we did a good job with that for the first 3 quarters, and then some of the real guys came in and started making plays, started making shots, got them back in it, but we just stayed the course, stayed resilient, and was able to get the win.
What does it say about this team? I mean, Detroit had the second best record in the entire NBA, and you guys handled them tonight.
We're just confident in our group, confident in our game plans, confident in what the coaches want to do, and confident in each other. We feel like we can beat any team, in this league, and like I said, it was a good display of that through the first 3 quarters. And then we start, turning the ball over, questionable shots, in that fourth, and they got back in it, stopped playing defense, started fouling a little bit. So, we just stay in the course, taking it one game at a time.
I think the last basket you guys scored in overtime was Coop's drop off to you. How's that just developing on-court chemistry between you guys?
Just constantly playing together, him making the right reads, or me being in the right spot. He gets a lot of attention, when he drops to the basket, and just kind of telling him that he's going to draw a crowd. So either don't get it blocked and not get the offensive rebound, or you have to dump off, and if they help down on me, then you'll have whoever's in the corner for a shot. So just getting him familiar with the game, and he's learning pretty fast and making reads.
You came into the game questionable with the illness in the left calf. So just how did you manage not feeling under the weather, and then how are you feeling now that you're out of it?
Still a little under the weather. Actually threw up twice during the game. But I'm just trying to compete, man. Just trying to do whatever I can to help the team win. Just leaving it all on the floor. Calf is good. So.
A couple times there during the game, you took some rough falls and were kind of grabbing at your knees. Everything okay there as well?
Yeah. Cool.
Thanks, sir.
Appreciate you guys.